everybody, welcome back to the Daddy Knows Best channel, where we help you understand the world, become a more strong, successful man out there, and have a better life. You know, this Johnny Depp case is a pretty big mess, and if you haven't been paying attention, I encourage you to just watch this video and maybe skim over, take a little bit of time, 30 minutes, to at least understand this issue and be able to tell your friends and family about this issue. Because it took one of the most famous, one of the most successful, influential men, a man who was a famous actor, you know, Jack, for the Pirates of the Caribbean and more, one of the most famous actors that touched and influenced so many people's hearts, a childhood favorite of millions, you know, somebody being wronged this badly, for people to start actually pay attention to men's issues, or at least just acknowledge that men can be abused, and he has been abused in every single possible way, and that's really the only reason why people are starting to pay attention, is because he's so successful. You really can't ignore him. People have loved him before all of this, and he lost everything. We'll talk about that later at the end of the video. He's lost everything, but let's talk about what has actually happened. You know, Johnny Depp has had much more happen to him than just his wife was mean to him. He's, you know, he's famous, he's influential, but he actually had his finger, part of his finger was cut off, and they actually adjusted, you know, one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, so it would look like he had a normal finger. So, you know, in the middle of the night, maybe he was drugged, maybe he, you know, he had taken something. We'll talk about that as well in regards to drugs, but, you know, he had lost a part of his finger. Amber Heard chopped off, you know, there's a word for it, dismembered. I can't even say it right now, but, you know, he lost a part of his finger, was chopped off by a woman, by his wife. That's one of the worst forms of abuse you could ever have. That's one of the worst things that could possibly happen to you. I mean, one of the worst. And if y'all don't know, fingers are one of the most sensitive parts of your body. So losing that was important. And he's an actor as well. His body, his image of his body, that is his moneymaker. And that also impacts his self-esteem and his image. Amber Heard knows what kind of things she was doing here. And again, it wasn't really brought as evidence, supposedly because he didn't want to hurt her reputation, and he didn't want to make a fight about this. So this is a whole story here. And Johnny has a story of kind of not standing up for himself. He's kind of taken a lot of the punches, taken a lot of the abuse, taken three punches to the face. That you probably know about. That was one of the most things that people have talked about in the court case, that he took 3 big punches to the face, and, you know, just asked her if he'd had enough, just kept taking them, and then said, you know, this relationship is over, don't follow me, this, you know, I'm just gonna go, and just left. But this story is worse, and again, we're going to talk about men's issues here in a second, but with this Johnny Depp case, there's a couple of things that y'all aren't talking about that's not being brought up in the court case. One of them is that Amber Heard, literally out of spite, out of hate, and jealousy as well, because we'll talk about that in a second, with Johnny Depp being so successful and so attractive, you know, she desecrated, you know, their bed. This might seem ridiculous, this might seem comical, and it's not just some practical joke. Amber is, you know, some people speculated she has certain mental issues. I don't know what's going on, bipolar or otherwise, but what we can say is that she's extremely spiteful and jealous and fake. She can put on an act. She can turn on her emotions. She can act, you know, they're actors. You know, some people have made it out that, oh, Johnny Depp is just an actor, he doesn't matter. Amber Heard's an actor, and everybody freaked out when she accused him of doing bad things. So you can't make that argument because they're both actors, and you could claim both of them are acting or one or the other is acting. But Johnny Depp, you can tell body language and how he's acting is very consistent. And Amber Heard constantly turns on her frowns or smiles on and off whenever she likes to. If you look at the consistencies of their body language and their attitudes and how they're acting. And Johnny Depp is being extremely open, extremely vulnerable about his personal life and who he is. They have nothing on him. They have nothing against Johnny Depp. You know, they're doing ridiculous things like trying to attack his character. You know, in regards to taking pain medicines when he got his finger chopped off. That he's a drug addict. I don't know his history of use of these or any other substances, but you know, they're trying to attack his personal character, which really doesn't have any bearing on the case on, you know, what did or did not happen regarding Amber Heard. But of course, these are the types of things. Attacking somebody's personal character is allowed when it's in regards to men, but in regards to women, they're assumed to have a great character, and you can't bring or question or bring into account anything that would influence your image or perception of a woman's character. Oh, how dare you! So again, Johnny Depp had his finger chopped off, literally chopped off. I had to go to the doctor and ask for the pain medicine that he should have, and to take away the pain. And they accused him of being some drug addict or some delinquent. And here with Johnny Depp, he took those punches, which you probably know about, real punches to the face. Also, she tried to ruin his face, which, you know, is $1 million face, multi-million-dollar face of Johnny Depp, and put a cigarette, you know, a burning cigarette, pushed and burned into his face. I mean, these are some of the. Not only are they damages, physical damages, but they're personal. These are personal attacks. This is much more than doing some physical damage. You know, and she knows that just chopping off some of his finger, that's not life-threatening. She can kind of get away with that possibly. And she also knows that just burning some of his face, she can kind of get away with that, even though that would hurt him as an actor. And that's very personal with his self-image and his self-confidence. These are tactful. These are strategic things that she's done. And it's very clear that she's quite the monster. She's quite the character. And here's the last one we wanted to talk about. I wanted to wrap this up. And we're going to talk about men's issues here at the end. Johnny Depp claims Amber Heard, you know, he's been insulted in multiple ways. One of the famous ones is with Dior Sauvage. He became, you know, the body, the image, the character for an extremely famous fragrance, an extremely popular, famous, one of the most top-selling fragrances in perfumery in the entire world, and you know, that was a very big deal. And you know, verbal abuse is not as big of a crime, but we need to start evaluating that in regards to court cases. Because some people are, you know, verbally abused for so long, and then they act out, and then that's not taken into account. You know, verbal abuse is abuse too. It's a big cultural debate for us to debate which one is, you know, people make it out that physical abuse is so much worse than verbal. You know, it kind of depends. We have to, you know, debate that and determine that in society, but we have a history. You know, and this does factor into this court case of Amber Heard's character, her attitudes, and her views. We have a whole story. We have a whole book about how Amber Heard views Johnny Depp and her intentions and her possible motivations and jealousies as well. And I wanted to make this, again, talking about this to get the word out on Johnny Depp, to help possibly a little bit, if I am helping at all, if I'm doing anything at all. And also, for you men watching this, I want you to know that, you know, if you have done anything in your past, you have something as small as a DUI, something as small as anything mentioned by police, anything on your public record whatsoever, again, something as small as a DUI or a speeding ticket, something as, these types of people will come and try to attack your personal character. Use this in a court case where that has little to no bearings about the judgment or the character, you know, of an individual. And this is allowed to be done to men. So this is why I encourage you men to, of course, get a lawyer. If if a police asks you questions, y'all know, or hopefully are very aware that you have the right to a lawyer and you have the right to be silent. So don't tell police anything that can be used against you. Really, don't tell them anything, and get a lawyer. No matter how much they try to heckle you, throw you into a dark room, or threaten you, or try to give you a plea deal, speak to, wait for that lawyer. And some of you men are thrown like debtors in prison back in the day. If you couldn't pay for your debts, you were thrown in prison and essentially let to rot there. Men are being treated like that. But women, that really famous case where the women shed a couple times, there's actually been a couple of them, and they say they're too pretty for jail, and they clearly committed a crime, and they're let off with little to no consequences, just like with female school teachers getting far lesser sentences and crimes than men. There's these clear hypocrisies in society. So you as a man need to be extremely careful. Build a case. If you are being abused, if you are in a situation, record, write down, get video, and speak to your lawyers. And you need to have to build a case. It's not just, you shouldn't have to do more work and put in more effort than a woman would, but it takes these types extreme amounts of this extreme of a situation with Johnny Depp for people to pay attention. So you have to build that portfolio of things that were said against you, build a case of, a record of actions that were taken against you. And you need to do this, and sometimes it might not even help you that much, but maybe you'll get a little bit more social respect. Maybe some of you men, a couple of you might not be fired if you, do stand up for yourself and are able to have these evidences for you. Once you go to divorce court, which a lot of you men don't think you're going to be divorced. A lot of men out there are still getting married. Divorce is coming for you. And it won't take too long, and you're going to lose half of everything, if not more. Well, it's really that you lose half of your assets, and she almost always gets the house, she almost always gets the kids, and any personal possessions. A lot of the time she gets the majority, if not of those. Even if they're personal possessions of yours that you've invested in, that are very personal, they could be heirlooms. The woman almost always gets those, even if they're family heirlooms with little to no physical, little to no monetary value. The woman still robs those from you. In almost every case. And I know plenty of men who have lost very personal items and very personal things, and they still try to, pay more than what they're worth and buy them from the woman. Often the woman gives them to the new boyfriend, or pawns them, or the new boyfriend pawns them, or she just gives them away. This is the kind of world that we live in. Again, Johnny Depp lost everything. He lost his career. He lost his business, his relationships. He lost a lot of his friends who just automatically trusted Amber. He's lost a lot of his self-confidence. He's lost an awful lot, and that's why this court case is happening. That's why he's suing, because this is much more than just defamation. He's lost his entire career. Even if he was able to get his career back, which he is not willing to go back to Disney, and Disney did not help, protect, or get involved in any way to support him. In fact, they immediately just fired him, based off a rumor, based off a tabloid. Why should he want anything to do with an organization as corrupt and as Disney? So what you have to ask yourself is, men, you have to have an escape route. And some of you men are married, and some of you are in long-term relationships. You're living with a woman. You best be prepared and be able to have some evidences, even if it's not against the woman. Maybe have evidence, a portfolio of your good actions. all the bills that you paid. And again, some of this, the judges might completely throw it out, but at least you tried. Evidences of the things you paid, the nice things you've done, the vacations you paid for, the roses that you paid for, the chocolate that you paid for, the Valentine's Day, the good actions, the nice little things. Every time she wanted you to go out and get her some ice cream or some pickles or whatever the heck she wanted. Every time you capitulated and when you went out to eat, you ate where she wanted to eat. And all the effort and investment that you put in there. You might want to start building that portfolio. Because I'm telling you guys, they can. These women can say almost anything that they want, and it's just believed. It's just trusted, no matter what kind of history or track record. And there's real evidence that Amber Heard was also cheating on Johnny Depp as well. But of course, that's not permissible. They don't permit that to be a discussion in court of Amber Heard and her disloyalty as well. And maybe that's one reason she was insulting his, his body as well. Oh, another motivation. But anyways, I'll let this go, guys. I hope that you took a lesson from this. I hope that you're very careful. And again, people wonder why Western men, people in the United States, people in Canada and France and some of these countries, they wonder why men are getting married less and less. Men are just dating, just hooking up, or just completely avoiding women. More and more, and I'm not trying to celebrate this. This is bad for society. This is bad for economies. This is bad for the mental and social, the mindset and the social and mental well-beings of individuals. People aren't supposed to live this way. People aren't supposed to, women and men aren't supposed to have this type of experience where we're recording what each other is doing, preparing, lawsuits and ready to sue and get into these types of fights, and the government's involved with regulations and who can say what, who can do what, and what actions are permissible, and you're being watched, and you as a man can lose almost everything just because she's unhappy. You don't. In the past, you would have had to cheat or a clear case of very bad abuse towards a woman, to get a divorce. Especially because divorces, usually favored women even in the past. Now, a woman can divorce you just because she's unhappy. She doesn't have to have a reason. You can say there's unsettable differences, even if you've argued or not. And to strengthen her case with the lawyers, she might just make an argument. She might just try to make you mad. She might interrupt your football night. She might throw a fit. She might, cause a scene. And if you do, you don't even have to lay a finger on her. And she could be throwing blows at you. She could be slapping, pinching, even punching you. And if you as much lay a finger on her, you've already lost everything. If you as much as raise your voice, you've probably just lost everything. And in a lot of these cases, women will, give themselves a black eye and fake evidence as well. There's multiple cases of that as well, where women have just faked things, and you don't have much of a chance. So hopefully, again, with this Johnny Depp case, we're going to shift a little bit in society. I don't know. I don't think this will particularly change any laws, but maybe society will start to open their eyes, and maybe we can start making some of these laws a little bit more fair. Because I'm tired of seeing people complain that men aren't getting married, and tired of acting like men aren't doing enough for society, that men aren't stepping up, that men aren't making women happy. When men continue to sacrifice themselves on the altar of society and governments and women, and they can't even get a thank you. They can't get a little bit of gratitude. They're getting paid less and less. They're giving men worse jobs, and they're paying them less, and they're constantly disrespected. And heaven forbid, if you're a 30-year-old, you're a man, and you want to date a woman that's 5 years younger than you. Oh, even if she's 25 years old, heaven forbid if you want to date a 25-year-old, and if she's younger and you want to marry or date her younger than 25 in the United States or Western countries, you're just an animal. You're just a monster to these types of people. And we'll get into the debate of, you know, when people should get married or not, biology and the age of consent. My goodness, I don't even know if I should put that on YouTube. That might just get me kicked out. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. I'd love to know your feelings and your thoughts, and let's get this conversation going. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Men, be careful, be aware, and you know, try to preserve your life. You know, I'm not saying work less. You know, some of you guys might have less motivation to become successful. That's fine. Take it easy if you want. You know, work odd jobs, work part-time jobs, have fun, play your video games if that's what you want to do. But for you men who do want to become successful, you want that suit, you want that you know, that white-collar job, you want something where you can become successful, you want to be in the office, you better be very skilled at walking on eggshells. And you better have, you know, maybe find some good women who maybe can support you, and maybe who would want to defend your good name, because it's very likely that you know, your world could come down on you very quickly just because of an accusation of any kind. You know, your world could be turned upside down just because somebody said something. Just, you know, and it might not even be an accusation of you violating somebody against their will. It could just be an accusation that you made somebody scared or unhappy, or they didn't like what kind of clothes you were wearing. Literally, men can be outcasted in society because of what kind of clothes they're wearing, especially if you wear a little red hat in certain areas. But women can go around wearing nothing but body paint, and actually break laws, and nothing is said against them. Nothing is done against them. They were never thrown in jail. They were never brought to court for those types of things. It's amazing. It's simply amazing, the world we live in. So let me know what you think down below. We'll talk about all these things, and have a beautiful day, my friends. Don't let this get you down. Feel freedom. You know, feel free that you can have your own life, and that you don't have to work to appease and to please and to satisfy society, women, and governments and people who really don't care about you, who don't want anything to do with you besides stealing your tax dollars to give it to quote-unquote minorities and women and other people, and a bunch of those people hate you too. You know, don't feel like you have to, you know, succeed and accomplish things and make the world a better place for them. Make the world a better place for you. And I'll see you soon, my friends. Have a beautiful one, and bye.